So good.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen right now with you, Dr. Dubai. Just give me 1 second. Let me just pull my presentation up.
Madhurima, allow participants to share the screen. Otherwise, you make host to ma'am.
Ma'am, I have given you the access. I have given you the access.
Okay.
I have given you the access.
It just takes a second for me to open it. So here it is.
Yes.
Light mode.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
It's visible
Yes.
now.
Ganeshwari, Muddal sir is with us.
Okay.
मुद्दल सर हमारे
Yes, ma'am.
साथ हैं, है ना? अभी वो नहीं आए हैं, डीन.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
May I just go back and check Chaube sir and all?
Aditi madam, please make call to Chaube sir.
Aditi, ma'am.
I'm sorry, are you talking to me?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Nazar, ma'am. Nazar, ma'am. I'm talking to you.
Okay,
Yes, yes. Good evening, ma'am.
good evening.
Is this Madhurima Sharma from TechCube office, RGPV Bhopal? Ma'am, go to share screen.
Okay,
At the end of the share screen,
yes.
share, at the end of the share screen, you can see and display screen more option.
Okay, more options, I see that.
Yes, yes. Please click on that and disable the annotation participants. Annotating.
Okay,
Okay.
I did that.
She did that.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
I express my gratitude to Mudgal sir. A very warm welcome, sir. We
Thank
just
you very
entered
much.
a little early, so have trial of all technical aspects. A very good evening to Mudgal sir. I'm Dr. Aditi Dubey.
Thank you. Good evening to all. Dr. Dubai, Dr. Madgal is on with us as well.
Okay. Okay. Dr. Maudgal, great. We beg pardon for the pronunciation.
No, I am one of you, I understand.
Oh. Suman madam,
Yes, Director.
I just spoke to Chaube sir. He said Vice Chancellor sir, and he will be joining.
Okay, and what about Director, sir?
He is not just, I could not speak to him, but he said I'll be joining because there had been a some meeting, urgent meeting. So,
Okay.
which?
So we'll wait for
So
5
who is
minutes.
Avinash Kumar, please, Avinash from MIT Bhopal, please unmute yourself, mute yourself, and close your video.
Okay, ma'am.
Our schedule time is 5:30 now. So we have, right now we have 173 participants have entered. We are waiting for. So I hope all the trial, Madhurima, Miss Madhurima,
Yes, ma'am.
all the technical aspects are quite okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there will be no problem sharing screen of our international experts.
No problem, ma'am. There is everything.
Dr. Srini Kambapati, sir, is not there, ma'am. He has not joined.
Still, he is not joined.
Okay.
Uh, I request our guest, Madam, Dean Professor Srini Kambapati,
Yes,
sir, is joining.
I don't think he was able to join us, so it will be just Dr. Madgal and myself.
Right. So everyone can relax for 5 minutes. We'll start at 5:30. We still
Okay.
do few minutes, and we are waiting for Vice Chancellor sir and TechTube coordinator Professor Chaube sir.
Okay.
So all technical aspects have been checked, and we are waiting for TechTube 3 coordinator and Vice Chancellor sir. So as soon as they reach, they have promised me to reach at 5:30. So we are waiting for them. So we'll start at 5:30.
Okay, thank you.
Evening, ma'am.
Hey, Nawal,
Yes.
how long do I wait for the beginning? Because our
So,
time difference.
just if you want to say, before we start, like a few words, just
Well,
about,
I will wait for Honorable Vice Chancellor
okay,
to say, offer my greetings to him.
okay. How are you doing, Dr.
Sure,
Matthew?
sure.
You got me up early, Nawal.
I owe you.
I request Maudul sir, Honorable Vangil sir, we just entered early for trial of technical aspects.
Sure.
And we have a scheduled time at 5:30. I pardon for inconvenience to you,
No,
sir.
no, it's just fine. Don't worry, please. It's okay.
और वो सामान जो अलग से दिया था उसको
It's really an opportunity for us that we do have two international guests with us and very learned personalities, very experienced personalities. And it's really an opportunity that Honorable Maudul sir, he had his education from BHU, the most reputed university of India. So we are hopeful and we'll definitely be benefited with your expertise, sir.
कॉलेज की तरफ से जूम मीटिंग चल रही है जूम मीटिंग
I request all the participants to mute yourself until you are asked to unmute. And please do not annotate on the screen. We are going to start meeting soon.
May I check?
कैसा विस्कर माई
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening. So,
Aditi ma'am, sir is there. I think we can start now.
already 251 participants have joined, so we
Yes.
can start.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
We
Good
are,
evening.
Good
we are
evening,
so
everyone.
happy.
Respected teacher, ma'am.
Good evening to you too.
Durima, please start.
Dr. Azar,
Yes.
may I start with greetings?
I think Dr. Dubai is going to introduce us.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
we will start. We will start. Madhurima,
Shall we start?
Yes.
Yes. Madhurima.
Yes, yes. A very hearty good evening to one and all present here. Welcome everyone. I am Madhurima Sharma. Welcome you all dignitaries and participants to this international webinar. Let's have an auspicious starting by seeking blessings of Ma Saraswati. I request you all to join your hands for Saraswati Vandana. Over to Reshma for Saraswati Vandana.
Reshma.
I don't think she's
Reshma, are you there?
Gyadeshwari, please.
Go ahead.
Please go ahead with Saraswati Vandana.
Ma'am, can you please make me the host, the co-host, so that I can share screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Screen is shared. Please go for Saraswati Vandana.
Yes, I have given you the access, Gyaneshwari. Please continue.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, there's my laptop is connected from Ring Computers, so kindly give access to Ring Computers.
Okay, sure. I have given you the access. Please check.
Okay, ma'am.
Goddess Saraswati is the light of hope and peace. May the divine grace of Goddess Saraswati be with all of us and bless us with knowledge and wisdom. Happy Vijayadashmi.
Saraswati
Saraswati Namastubyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada
Aditi ma'am and Madhurima ma'am, let's continue further.
Yes.
Now I would like to invite coordinator of the event, Professor Aditi Dubey ma'am, for welcome speech. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening. Good morning to our international guests, and we hope Ma Saraswati bless us with all blessings and our desire to fulfill our education and knowledge. Good evening to our international guests, and we hope it's a beautiful evening there. We have a beautiful evening here as well, and I'm sure it's a beautiful morning there. We have among us our international guests, President and CEO of Lawrence Technological University, Dr. Viren K. Moudgil, Dr. Nawal Hazar, Director, English Second Language Institute, Lawrence Technological University. We welcome you all. And we do have a lovely evening here. I welcome all dignitaries and esteemed participants present here for this international webinar. I welcome you all. I, Dr. Aditi Dubey, on behalf of University Institute, Rajiv Gandhi Technological University, welcome you all to this international webinar on enhancing communication skills of faculty and students to meet the demands of future academic goals. It is a memorable occasion to have Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sunil Kumar sir, among us as the chief guest. Sir, we feel greatly honored and welcome you with greatest reverence and highest admiration. You have always encouraged us with knowledge and collaboration with academicians and universities across the world. I welcome you, sir, and look towards your blessings, advices, and direction for betterment of academic pursuit. We are privileged to have the gracious presence of TechCube 3 coordinator, Professor S.T. Chaubey, sir. Thank you, sir, for being with us and for all your support and the platform you provided us to organize this program. I welcome learned professors from Department of English and other faculty members from all affiliated colleges of RGPV. I welcome renowned personalities present here, and I'm very grateful to you for all your gracious presence. Now I request a team member, Ms. Madhurima, to take over for further proceedings.
Now I would like to invite coordinator of the, now I would like to invite respected Professor S.T. Chaubey, sir, coordinator of TechCube 3 RGPV Bhopal, to address us.
Good evening to all.
Yes.
Sir, please.
Respected Professor Sunil Kumar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi Technical University, Speaker of the Day, Dr. Nawal Hazar, and CEO and President, Dr. Birendra Kumar Mudgal. I welcome you all on behalf of RGPV TechCube 3. The coordinator, Dr. Aditi Dubey, is organizing a very relevant webinar on communication skill. Almost every student of affiliated institutions and today's graduate is looking forward to improve his or her communication skill. He knows if he has to get a job anywhere, whether it is any sector, he has to be good in communication. Every industry, every IT sector, every corporate, they are looking for a guy who has a good communication power, and that is equally important for a faculty also in academics. And for that purpose, coordinator has got a view looking for a good communication skill for today's who can, if entered into academics, really he can do a lot. Honorable Vice Chancellor, with the permission of the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sunil Kumar, TechCube 3 has conducted many programs on communication skill. Even today, 3 programs are going on, and we find a large number of student participation in all the programs. Hope this kind of enthusiasm will continue with all coordinators, and all the participants will continue to join in this marathon effort of the RGPV under the leadership of Professor Sunil Kumar. Once again, I thanks to all guests, speakers, and all dignitaries, and particularly all the participants who are here. And thanks to Dr. Aditi Dubey for taking these initiatives. Thank you very much. Over to you, Madhurima.
Thank you, sir, to provide us the platform for this webinar. Now may I request to Honorable Vice Chancellor, RGPV Bhopal, Professor Sunil Kumar Gupta, sir, to have of blessings. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. This is nice to see so many persons. Already 359 participants have already joined this particular international webinar. So definitely the key speaker is going to be very effective. That's what I feel personally at this stage. So I welcome Dr. Nazar for being key speaker for this evening. I also congratulate Aditi Dubey for hosting this kind of international webinar on the communication skills. As everybody aware that you can be communicative, but finally the effective communication has its own meaning. Unless or otherwise you have some kind of effective communication wherein the person with which you are dealing or communicating understands you well, only then you can say that the effective communication is taking place. Otherwise, what happens? This miscommunication causes a lot of confusion all over the world, even in politics, even in other arena, even in education, in professional meetings. Sometimes this miscommunication causes blunder. So one has to avoid it. One has to be very honest while communicating. One has to be very clear. One has to be very effective. It's not issue of language. You can have command on any language. The way you express yourself, that is more important. The way you behave is more important. The way you are honest in your approach, that is more important. So you have to learn these simple tricks of life which can make your communication more effective, and finally you can be professionally more competent and more acceptable, I would like to say. Acceptancy depends upon your effective communication. So this kind of webinar is very important as far as the students are concerned who are going to make their life in corporate world. So I hope Dr. Nazar will be doing justice for with this evening. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Over to Madhurima. Madhurima.
Thank you, sir. We are indeed grateful for your gracious presence. Now I invite coordinator of the event, Professor Aditi Dubey ma'am, to introduce the webinar. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madhurima. I welcome you all once again. Honorable Vice Chancellor has reiterated time and again that priority should be placed onto high quality education, and therefore RGPV ensures the development of a collaborative environment conducive to learning, exposure to the best international practices, and promotion of innovation and creativity. Objective of this webinar is to develop essential English language skills of students to face competition at international level. Webinar aims to foster global awareness, intercultural communication skills, and also at providing information related to study of English language to students. I'm sure webinar will help to faculty to enhance communication style for teaching skills. I'm sure participants will benefit from this webinar towards accomplishment of academic goals. I welcome you all once again, and over to Ms. Gyaneshwari for brief introduction of our esteemed resource person, Gyaneshwari. I'm really thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, for being with us and blessing us with his kind words and motivating us. I once again welcome our international guest, Vice Chancellor, sir, and our esteemed participants here. And I now request Gyaneshwari to introduce our international guests. Over to Gyaneshwari.
To our utmost pleasure, we have with us President Dr. Virendra K. Modgil, who serves as President and CEO of Lawrence Technological University. President Modgil has gained his education and professional training from some of the most prestigious institutions, which include the Harvard Institute for Educational Management, Mayo, Rochester, and Minnesota. Sir has also earned his doctorate in zoology from the Banaras Hindu University. We welcome you, sir. Now, I invite Dr. Modgil for his presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aditi. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Kumar, Dr. Dubey, Dr. Kushwati, Professor Chaube, Dr. Rajput, and all the colleagues who are on the Zoom this evening in India and this morning in United States. It is my pleasure to have the chance to be with you this morning because of a very important idea of communication that really governs the entire United States community and, for that matter, United Nations and the world. All the peace processes and problems are related to communication or lack of communication. Similarly, you could be the most bright scientist, thought leader, a writer, scholar, but if you cannot communicate your ideas in most relevant manner, the impact of your credentials really doesn't go deep enough. In international spheres, like I came here in 1973, it took a while to understand the local nuances, how people greet each other, to get in touch with the inner self, how I greet as an Indian. I think these were communications that helped me to be accepted in that environment of scientist as I am, and also to be able to present my work that led to my current position. All the writing, the books I published, people I have met, many of them are Nobel laureates, and some are members of National Academy. I think that was possible only because in my most humble way, I was able to speak with them or write to them and have communication with them. So with that, I think Lawrence Tech, coming back to my institution, is one institution that has no parallel in the United States. Very briefly, if Dr. Azhar has not mentioned, she probably has, but I like to be very proud of the institution I'm working at. Lawrence Technological University was started by Henry Ford and Edsel Ford, the people who really created the middle class in America, and the father of industrial revolution in America or in the world, Henry Ford, that created the concept of assembly car design. At that time, one car was built once at a time, one time a day. Then he created the assembly line concept, so you could create 1,000 cars coming out in a single day. That helped during the World War II to produce fighter jets, cars, and whatever we needed in communication mobility. That happened from that plant where we were housed initially. With that, we also got into creating the economic growth of the country because most people believe the arsenal of a democracy was really fought from Detroit. Detroit engineers and communicators were responsible for preparing our forces of the freedom to win the war. So Detroit has a very unique place, and our institution is one of those which played a great role. Many of our alumni fought in the World War and were sacrificed for the sake of freedom. So I'm very proud of that. But coming back to the institution now, we housed, or we are home to 45 countries that send students to Lawrence Tech, a short name for Lawrence Technological University. Many of them stay in the country, some go back. Of course, international communications have changed significantly recently. And as a result, one has to have great communication skills, either to stay there or go back and establish his or her own program in India or elsewhere. And I think it is very clear that the top companies of United States that are bringing billions of dollars into the country, or the people who are the leaders, CEOs, are themselves among the top rich people in the country and innovators and entrepreneurs. And it is, you think about Microsoft, Google, MasterCard, and many other top companies, the head is somebody from India who was educated in India early on, or even for complete education. That is a marvelous thing in communication, because these people rose to the eminence because of their ability to communicate their ideas to the public, to the board of trustees where they work. So they were sought as leaders, and then they enhanced the growth and the strength of those companies. So Lawrence Tech has many programs to help students in communication. For example, we have a program that is called Etiquette Dinner. In that, we create all the possibility for international students to come to a table for a dinner, and we have a professional guide or counselor who helps local and international students the etiquettes of meetings, of dinner or lunch or interviews, how you interview, how you dress, how you speak, how you make your case in an audience. All this is trained as a part of their degree from Lawrence Tech. Secondly, there is a program in College of Business Management where all international students are given a platform to speak whatever they wish to do for 5 minutes, 10 minutes in English. And that allows them to open up and remove their hesitation in speaking in public. As many of you know, perhaps all of you know, that one of the fiercest thing American people have is public speaking. A lot of people, no matter how many degrees they have, how much credentials they have owned, but they have fear of public speaking. I think that's where it is very important for you to distinguish yourself, to differentiate from the audience or masses of people. You have to differentiate yourself to have something extra. That extra comes through communications. After you have a degree, after you have experience, you need to put it to use through a good communication skill. So I invite all my colleagues who are listeners today or this evening in India, if they have a chance to visit, collaborate, or come for higher education, I think communication will take you where you wish to be as a leader in India, the thought leader, industrial leader, a scholar, educational leader. All these require communication. If people have good communication, the heads of states in the universe, in the international community, there will be much more peace if they could talk to each other in a reasonable way and communicate effectively. Perhaps there will be more peace than there is trouble. So I think I can overemphasize the value of your web conference, and I want to thank you all for actually thinking of it and hosting this conference or web seminar, because this is one of the crucial things that we can endow our students and colleagues, faculty and students all, that communication will strengthen you with what you already have. And I am very proud to have had my initial education in India. We had many foreign speakers come to Banaras Hindu University. My teachers were many from Cambridge or Oxford or so forth, Germany. And I think listening to them, learning their ways of communication helped me and my fellow students how to interact, how to understand, and how to make a case with them. So now you are part of a very prestigious Vishwavidyalaya or university. And I think with that, you have the initial empowerment to go to your potential in whatever place you have in hierarchy of education, in economy, or industrial might, because you have a great leadership, you have Honorable Vice Chancellor who is so well known and accomplished, and your faculty and your professors. So I'm very proud of that, and I appreciate having a chance with my colleague, Dr. Azhar, who has been so passionate about international education and has been champion on our campus. And I'm so glad she asked me to be with you shortly for this morning. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We are really obliged for your very informative information you have provided, sir. And definitely we'll try to enhance the communication skills and join your universities, and we'll take advantage of the courses. We'll seek ways out how to join across the world and to join different institutions. Definitely we look forward for all your guidance. I'm really thankful to you, sir, for your advice.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Madhurima, I request you. Over to Madhurima. Over to Gyaneshwari.
We are honored to have with us Dr. Srini Khambampati, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Sir has received his Bachelor of Science in Agriculture from Andhra Pradesh Agricultural University and his Master in Pest Management in the Department of Biological Sciences from Simon Fraser University. Sir has also gained his doctorate in Philosophy in Biological Sciences from Simon Fraser University. We welcome you, sir. Now, I would like to invite you for your presentation, sir.
I hope Sri sir is not with us. He could not join us for some reasons.
Yes, he was unable to join us. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I request Gyaneshwari to proceed with our next keynote speaker, Dr. Naval Ajar Madam. Please, Gyaneshwari. Gyaneshwari. We do have some internet problem. Gyaneshwari.
Gyaneshwari, are you there?
Gyaneshwari.
I think ma'am network issues. She's disconnected.
Okay. Okay. Gyaneshwari will be back.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes. Please invite a keynote speaker.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Dr. Naval Azhar.
Yes, ma'am. To our utmost gratitude, we have with us Dr. Naval Azhar, Director, English Second Language Institute, Lawrence Technological University, USA. For the past 25 years, Dr. Naval Azhar has strived to be an effective communicator by continuing to learn. She earned a PhD in Learning, Design and Technology from the College of Education at Wayne State University, a Master in Business Administration from Davenport University, and a Bachelor in Business Administration from Wayne State University. Her most recent expertise specifically related to creating and directing the English Second Language Institute at Lawrence Technological University in the College of Arts and Sciences for close to 12 years. In her current position, she executes and collaborates on strategic planning, program development, curriculum development, training, evaluation, and research. She has a great deal of practical experience in hiring, mentoring faculty, facilitating faculty training, scheduling courses, assessment, and evaluation of all institute functions. Also, ma'am has played an essential supportive role for international students for accomplishing all their goals in the United States in their educational and professional fields. We welcome you, ma'am. Now, I gratefully invite our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Azhar, for her presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. And I really appreciate the large audience that is participating in today's webinar. I'm hoping that everything that I am about to discuss with you can be used to effectively change the communication skills or enhance the communication skills of everyone participating today. And again, I want to thank Dr. Dubai for inviting me to participate in this webinar. It is my honor to be here today and to be able to facilitate this webinar. And I'll go ahead right now and start sharing my screen with you. So,
Oh, most welcome, sir. We welcome you, sir. And Gyaneshwari, I request you to please introduce our international guest. Sir has joined us. Gyaneshwari?
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So we are honored to have with us Dr. Srini Khambampati, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Lawrence Technological University. Sir has received his Bachelor's of Science in Agriculture from Andhra Pradesh Agricultural University and his Master in Pest Management in the Department of Biological Sciences from Simon Fraser University. Sir has also gained his doctorate in Philosophy in Biological Sciences from Simon Fraser University. We welcome you, sir. Now I would like to invite sir for his presentation.
Yes. Few words of motivation. We request you, sir. I request Madhurima to make co-host to provide access to Srini, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Madhurima?
Yes, ma'am. visible?
Yes?
Aditi ma'am?
Yes?
Sir is not there.
Sir is there. Sir is there. He just joined us.
By which name?
I request Madam Nazar Mudga, Madam Azhar.
Yes.
Azhar, I'm sorry. I request to please whether Sir Srini Kambayatji has joined us. He just joined us, but I hope he is again not here. So we will continue with your presentation.
Okay, I will go ahead and share my screen and we can go ahead and start.
He just joined, and perhaps because of internet problems, he is not with us right now.
So today I want to have, I want to do this a little bit different. I don't just want to talk myself, but there is such a large audience, and hopefully that what I have to say and what I'm presenting to you can be effective and can help you in your future endeavors throughout your careers. And what I'm going to be talking about today is basically communication skills of students or faculty or anyone participating in this webinar to help you working in the United States or going to school in the United States. And we'll go from there. I do have a short video that I want to share with you, and it is about our life on campus and what some students can expect to achieve before I do the agenda. Sorry. There.
I'm excited when I wake up at Lawrence Tech because my days are packed with interesting labs, classes, projects, and friends.
So every morning we hit the ground running. Well, most of us do.
A lot of people think LTU is just an engineering school, but we're a university with 4 different colleges and over 100 different majors.
We all have different styles and different ways of thinking.
Living on campus is awesome. You get to know so many students really well. And there's a real variety of residential hall styles to choose from.
I chose Lawrence Tech for its small campus size. However you get to class, you never have to walk, skate, or bike very far. The quad is such a cool mix of traditional LTU and new state-of-the-art buildings, like the Taubman Complex and Marburger STEM Center.
We have every kind of learning environment we need on Lawrence Tech's campus, from architecture studios and chemistry labs to an atomic microscope and simmer, where we do engineering materials research.
LTU's motto is theory and practice, meaning right from day 1, freshman year, students get hands-on instruction in their field. And because of the small class sizes, I can get to know my professors and every one of my classes much better than I could at a larger school.
We get our own free-to-use laptops, packed with all the professional-grade software we need to be career-ready in our fields on day 1.
We all have different paths at LTU.
Once I get out of class, I hit the field for practice. I'm going to go get some tutoring help for one of my classes.
We're heading out for a tournament in Indiana.
Students can go to LTU's Office of Career Services to meet with career advisors and get help planning their job search strategies. LTU's Career Services staff brings in 180 companies a year to meet us, so we can network and get co-ops, internships, and jobs. Good jobs.
We're part of Blue Devil Motorsports, and today we're going to work on the cooling system for the Formula SAE vehicle.
This senior project is great for job preparation. Recruiters even come to our competition and ask for our resumes. That's how I got my job.
A lot of LTU undergraduates also work on research projects with their professors.
After class, I go to my co-op at a major car company. It's really prepared me for my future work life. And the best thing is my manager has already offered me a job for after graduation.
I'm doing my clinicals for my Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree. Today I'm at Ascension Providence Hospital in Southfield.
There are a lot of ways to wind down when we have time.
LTU has more than 60 official student groups, including Greek and professional organizations.
And there's the Riddler Fieldhouse for working out and shooting a few hoops.
If you don't have a car, LTU's Tech Transit can take you where you want to go.
Now that we have football, Saturdays in the fall are a blast.
But all that fun, don't work hard.
Even at night, we study, create, research, design, write, and build as hard as we play.
Until it's time, put everything away and get rested up for tomorrow to do it all over again.
Hey, Blue, turn off the light, man.
Okay. So that was just, that was a short video of what our campus looks like here in the United States. And I just wanted to show you our campus and where we go every day. And it's basically our home. The people that work there, we're there all the time, except for what's going on now. I'm sure you all know about the lockdown because you've had the same thing. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, this is my agenda today, and I'm going to define what communication is for you and what to expect from having great communication skills. I'm going to talk about barriers to effective communication, because we tend to all have those barriers to effective communication, and they sometimes get in our ways of achieving our goals, whether they're academic or professional or personal even. Paraverbal and nonverbal communication skills, problem-solving communication, listening skills, feedback, and we're going to talk about graduate school in the United States and working in the United States. And that's basically my presentation. I did not expect such a large audience, which I'm very happy to have and to talk to so many people. So we're going to have, I'm going to ask you to maybe write down your questions before you put them in the chat box, because there'll be so many, I won't be able to get through all of them once we're done with the presentation. But if you write down your questions as we go along, and at the end of the session, I will ask you to type your questions in, and then I will try to answer to the best of my ability any questions that you might have regarding communication skills, the presentation I just made, or any questions about working or going to university in the United States. Dr. Dubai, is that sufficient instruction for questions?
Yeah, Madam, that's sufficient.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
We have asked participants to note down their queries, and after your presentation, we'll have a slot of around 30 minutes where they will raise their queries. So first we'll go for your presentation, and in last, participants will raise their queries and any question if they do have.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. So communication defined. What is communication? So I kind of took this little definition from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, or behavior. So that's what's written about communication. But I know communication is a whole bunch of other things. Communication is how you interact with your teachers, how you interact with your colleagues at university, how you interact with your friends, how you interact with your family. So communication can be very, very broad, but it also can be very, very specific to certain things that you're doing in your life. And it's important to have communication skills that can transfer that knowledge in a way that it becomes effective to you. I just wanted to ask everyone to please mute your computer. Thank you.
May I take over? I request all participants, and we had provided instructions as well. Please mute your mics and please close your videos. Please, participants, I request you all to mute your mics and close your videos. And please raise hand later on. We'll give time to everyone. Please do not raise hand unless you do. It's very urgent. I humbly request you all. Over to Madam. Over to Dr. Nazar.
Thank you. So the questions today, in order for me to do this presentation, I wanted to ask myself questions on what is communication to you? I want to know what communication means to you, and I will find out later. I want you to share some examples of missed opportunities because of lack of communication. So I want you to think during the next hour or so about missed opportunities that you've had as a result of lack of communication skills. And we've all had those, not just you. I've had them, other people have had them, everyone has had them. And then I want you to share an example of an effective communication where it led to a successful opportunity. So I want you to think, so I'm giving you kind of an assignment right now, to think of one opportunity where you lost that opportunity because of lack of communication. And another one is because you have good communication skills, something that you have accomplished, a successful opportunity. So that's something for you to think about as I'm going through my presentation, okay?
Sure.
So effective communication gives you the ability to solve problems. Nothing at work that you can't handle. Nothing at school that you can't handle. Nothing at home that you can't handle. So having effective communication skills can give you the ability to solve problems quickly and efficiently, whether it's in any area, work life, home life, or academic life. These skills can improve your productivity. You can produce more at work. You can become more effective in the way you communicate with your managers. You can become more effective with the way you communicate with your spouse. You can be more effective in the way you communicate with your children or with anyone for that matter. It kind of reduces your stress levels as well, because if you have good communication skills, you can handle anything. If you have bad communication skills, your stress levels will tend to go up. You can get into arguments. You can lose your job. You can go through a divorce. So communication is something that affects you in all areas of your life. And whether it be professional or personal, communication can tend to have an effect on all areas of your life. How you handle situations with others with communication skills, it's just one of those areas that really has a tremendous impact on any situation in your life. The ability to meet your goals, communication skills, whether they're good or bad, you meet those goals in that way. Level of satisfaction with your goals, personal, professional, and academic. So all of these things that I just talked about, communication skills, effective communication skills, will be something that helps you succeed, helps you move forward, helps you to develop your career, your personal life, and your professional achievements in life. That's what effective communication can do for you. How do you communicate? How do I communicate? There are several ways that we communicate. We're talking, spoken, verbal, and paraverbal communication, nonverbal communication, written communication, And these days, we all have digital communication via Zoom or other platforms, because there are many other platforms that we'll talk about. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to talk about all the platforms, but I want to talk a little bit about a meeting I had the other day. Just want to give you an example of a meeting that I had on a different platform. I won't name the platform, but we were supposed to have a work meeting, and it was done through other than Zoom. And the facilitator of the meeting could not get us all couldn't get us all in the meeting for some reason. There was so many technical difficulties. And we had to quickly, because it was a meeting that we could not postpone or delay, we had to quickly figure out another platform and get all of us on there. But there are so many platforms out there for digital meetings right now that we have that choice, and we have the ability to think fast and come up with solutions because of our communication skills. Because the people that were involved were all good communicators, all had access to different platforms, and could come up with ideas really quickly to change our platform so that we can have our meeting. But I have put up here some pictures of different ways people are communicating. And you can see here a student with a teacher, a student with a student, with their colleagues, and the way they're communicating. And in one of our labs at LTU, you can see that they're also communicating, even when they're working on bridges or in engineering, or they're working on different, people are communicating all the time. We're always communicating. It's one of those skills that is so important to everything that we do, everything. And hopefully by the end of this presentation, you can all take some of this information and have it affect your life so that you can achieve your goals wherever they may be, whether they're personal, professional, or academic. Communication, and it can become very busy, right? You can see that from that slide I have up there. Communication is connected in every way, in everything that we do, in our productivity, and how we collaborate with our colleagues, with our kids, with our families, how we plan things, people all around, how we collaborate with people on the street, how we communicate with just going out to eat, buying food, or going to going to school, or sharing ideas with our friends, sharing ideas with our colleagues, or strategizing with our colleagues, strategizing with our students. Communication has an effect on everything that we do. The method that we use to communicate, how we communicate to mass audiences, how we can, and then determining that audience, you know, who is that audience, and how are we going to cater our communication to fit the needs of that audience. So whether you're talking to students, whether you're talking to your teachers, whether you're talking to the vice chancellor, to the president of the university, our communication skills need to be adapted quickly to those certain moments where you're making quick decisions on how to communicate with whoever it is that you're communicating with. So that is very important. It is an important skill to have. It is an important skill to understand and to use the different types of ways to communicate in different situations. I'm going to first here talk about barriers to communication. And this is just a slide where you can, I wanted it to be something you can look at really quickly and see all those things that can hinder your communication with others. We'll start with, you know, barriers, unclear message. I think that that could be one of the biggest barriers. When you have a message and you're unable to clearly state that message to someone, and you might be able to, you know, give that message to the wrong person, or to the wrong people, or to the wrong group of people, wrong target. Or that message could be in a wrong format. Maybe the message that you have would have been better if you had spoken one-on-one with the person, or had walked over to their office and spoken to them. Instead of writing it down, it could come off as being offensive or not helpful. Technical breakdown, like in our meeting, we had a technical breakdown and we couldn't get ourselves in a meeting. It was like 7 people, and we rely on digital meetings these days because of COVID-19. And we have to make sure that we have plan A, plan B, and plan C all the time, so that we can determine the most probable way to get in touch with our colleagues or our students or our friends. The receiver is unable to understand. So when we're dealing with international audiences, sometimes Americans have a way of speaking where their language tends to be metaphoric, and sometimes international audience does not understand what Americans are trying to say because they're using the metaphoric language, where they're using words that mean something else, but they're using those words anyway, but only Americans will understand. Excuse me. Only Americans would understand that language. So we should try, as Americans, as Indians, as whoever is trying to communicate that message, to understand, to speak in terms that is understandable to everyone that is their audience. Attitude towards the sender. Your attitude is very important in communication. Having an attitude that is more aggressive or tends to be puts you in ways where the receiver feels threatened is unacceptable in communication skills, especially professionally. So we need to always make sure that our attitude and the way we come across to our audience is effective and professional. And then using the wrong channel, if you, like I said, you can visit your colleague instead of sending them an email, which sounds more offensive. If you have a problem, you can, stand at the door or go, schedule a meeting, or, just make sure that you understand the person that you're dealing with and how they perceive that message that you're going to get. So if it's a critical message, find a way that you can convey that message where that person doesn't feel offended or that person doesn't feel like they're threatened. And when you don't give feedback. Now, when I finish this presentation, I want whoever is listening, I want you to tell me what you think of it. I want you to tell me what you think of my language. I want you to tell me what you think of how this information will affect you. And it's important to me to see that a message is coming across to you. And I want that feedback because it will help me improve my communication skills and how I communicate with people, right? And then there's communicating and poor timing. Maybe you see someone is not having a good day, and you still want to have that conversation, which will just agitate that person. And that's important, maybe that conversation can wait. Maybe that email can wait if you know that that message is going to come across poorly. And then using the use of jargon. And that's what I was talking about with knowing your audience, knowing who you're talking to, and how you're going to be perceived when you communicate with whoever it is that you're communicating. So do you see that wall? When we deal with international countries, and we are a global world now, we all have meetings like this. I am meeting with you today. I am in America and you are in India. And there are differences in our lives that we can't change. So we have to be very aware of those differences, the cultural differences. What I know about Indian culture comes from my Indian students, the students that have come on campus for years and years and years that I've gotten to know, and I have really met some of the greatest people from India, and have had the opportunity to work with some of the greatest people from India. There could be people with emotional differences, and those differences tend to be, you have people going through different things at different times. We have a situation right now where it's a pandemic that has affected the whole world, not just America. So in India, they're in lockdown. In America, we are on lockdown. In Europe, they're in lockdown. In the Middle East, they're in lockdown. In South America, everywhere. It's the same situation. And this is unprecedented. We've never had something like this affect the whole world. I think the last thing that has ever affected the whole world like this was World War II. But this is something that has taught us all lessons, and it has, people have had emotional different reactions to the situation. Some people have thrived with this virtual environment. Some people are very scared of it, and they're not happy with it. And you have to understand who is and who is not. So it's important to know that. Physical absence. So now, in the past, if I were to do a lecture on communication, I might have been invited to your university, and I might come there and do this in person. Now we have the physical absence of it. So there isn't that connection that we might have had if you see me in person. But with this platform and platforms like this is the next best thing, actually. So we're here and we're doing this, and we have to be aware of our environment and who we're speaking to. And technical interruptions. That is, it never fails. A technical problem will happen at some point during a virtual meeting or a virtual presentation. Even if you're in person, something will happen. So that's why when you're doing a presentation, so you save your presentation, let's say in two areas. You email it to yourself, you put it on a flash drive. You have a second computer waiting just in case this computer fails. So you constantly make plans for those things, but these could become barriers if you're someone who doesn't make plans. So that's the whole concept behind the wall right here. So, and then the person facing the wall, these are barriers that could become a problem, or they can become an advantage to you. Okay, so I wanted to kind of explain what para-verbal communication is, and how it can affect you. I think it's one of those more important things to understand, because it is the way you talk. It's the way you speak with people. It's the way you communicate and how you stress your words. So how you come across to people. And I've had students and faculty who I've worked with to help them develop their communication skills come to me and say, you know, I had a conversation with this student, and the student just took offense to everything I said, but I wasn't saying anything wrong. And I would ask that faculty, well, how were you talking to that student? And they would be, well, I put an example, but that's not what they said, but I put this example up there just so that you can see the power of pitch, the truth about your tone, and the strength of your speed, right? So the first sentence up there that I put that you can see, I didn't say you were stupid. I didn't say you were stupid. I didn't say you were stupid. So you can see how that came across, right? With the different tones, the way I stressed the I, the didn't, and the stupid. So it's important to recognize these things in your language and how you speak to people. So sometimes we are unaware of these pitches in our tones, and they could become offensive to people. And I'm hoping that when you speak, you choose your words carefully. And by crafting that message, you want others to take away that you are someone who can communicate properly, who can speak to the situation, and who can effectively be empathetic towards the person that you're speaking with, no matter who it is. Your paraverbal communication plays a big role to your audience and how they see you. Just the way, not just the way you say it, how you say it plays a big role in how successful your communication skills are. So hopefully that you learn to control your tone by doing different exercises, by speaking to yourself, by maybe practicing in front of a mirror how you communicate with others, by rereading that email before you send it to see how it sounds to you. If you receive the same email, how would you feel? So that's important for you to understand those things, and learning these little changes in your communication habits can help you be successful in communicating with others. So hopefully this becomes helpful in many areas when making presentations, right? I can keep you engaged. I can keep you entertained by my tone and how I speak to you. And that's important. It's very important, because if you're having a 2-hour presentation and someone is just reading, I'm sitting here and I'm reading my slides, you're not interested, you become disengaged, you become, you just wanna walk out, you wanna go do something else, you wanna play with your phone. But it's important to stay engaged when you're listening to people. By sharing your information with others. Your tone is also very important. When you tell that story, when you tell your friends a story about what happened to you at school or what happened to you when you got into a car accident, your tone plays a big role. So telling that story effectively becomes a big deal if you're communicating with your colleagues and your friends. So all that becomes important when you have so much skills built inside your communication habits, and that helps to convey that message effectively, and you will feel all the benefits of that effectiveness once you acquire these skills. So I want to talk a little bit about nonverbal communication. Look at this pie chart that I have up here, communication pie chart. Body language is 55% of our communication skills, 55%. Our words are 7%. Thank you. So these are nonverbal communication skills. The body language, 55%. I just want you to look at those for a second and think about that. Your eye contact, your facial expressions, your posture, your gestures, your appearance, and how close you are to the person you're communicating with. That's 50%, 55% of your language, 55% of, you know, the way you communicate with people, whether it be digitally, whether it be in writing, whether it be in verbal communication. So these things really affect the way you communicate with people. So if I'm sitting here right now and I'm, you know, I have a grouchy face and my facial expressions, and I pick up a paper and I start reading and I'm not really participating with you, and I'm just reading this presentation to you. That's not proper. That's not proper communication skills. Proper communication skills is connecting with you. And if you were in person, if we were in person in this meeting, I would be looking at many of you in the eye to make sure that I am connecting with you. I'm connecting with each individual person. And that's what makes these meetings a little bit hard sometimes, because we can't have that eye contact. We can't have that relationship where we connect with a person and try to give them the message. And it wouldn't just be one person, it would be many persons in the audience that I would be looking at and connecting with. And, but I try to make sure that I'm looking at my camera, because I feel that you are looking at my picture, and then that connection can be made even though we are 10,000 miles away, I think. So it's important to have gestures. Your posture is very important, to sit up straight, to have facial expressions, to have a smile on your face. And now, these days, you can't really get close to people because you have to have 6 feet distance between you and them, to have that proximity where you create that relationship of friendliness and you know, a relationship where people can feel comfortable and confident in being able to talk about the different things that you would be talking about. When you're saying words to an audience that doesn't understand your culture, it's important not to use slang. So the words, the 7% words, correct level, your tone. So it's very important to speak. So if you're speaking to an audience of 300, you have to make sure that they all hear you. They all can understand what you're saying. And if you're speaking to an audience of 1, you don't need to be screaming. You don't need to be having a high-pitched voice. You need to be able to communicate with that one person and to use appropriate terminology. It's very important. Terminology is important, and understanding vocabulary, increasing your knowledge of vocabulary and the kind of words that you should be using with whoever you're communicating with. Like I said, your pitch and your pace are very important as well, because they are 38% of your communication, your nonverbal communication. The pitch is your voice when you're speaking to 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 300 people. That's important. The pace. So if I was in a classroom with beginner ESL students, English as a second language students, students who didn't speak English very well, who didn't have a lot of knowledge of English, my pace would be very slow. And I would ask questions after every 2 or 3 sentences. I would ask, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you need me to explain this information further? But my pace will be very slow. And you can see I'm practicing that with you right now. So you have to always understand your audience. Your audience is very important to determining how you communicate with them. Whether it's slow, whether it's fast, whether it's calm, mellow, your tone, your inflection, your enthusiasm, it all makes a difference. So just remember that. And in the United States, these are things that can really help you succeed, whether it's in school, graduate school, whether it's in a professional setting, in any kind of setting, or your personal setting. You can agitate a situation to become bad by the way you speak, or you can decrease that situation from becoming bad by the way you speak, by the way you take these nonverbal skills and incorporate them into your daily habits. So it's really important to have that. These are nonverbal skills. So using body language effectively. I threw in there some pictures of, you know, people just screaming, and that's not effective. These are not effective, right? And then I don't know how many of you have children. These two boys right here, these are my grandsons, and they're constantly fighting. The way they communicate with each other is just crazy. They're always, you know, scratching each other. When they want something, they grab it. And I try to teach them. I try very hard, but it's not effective. So you have to keep instilling these communication skills, even in children at a very young age, so that they can learn them as they become adults. That way they don't overreact to things. They do things the way you want them to. And the body language of these kids that I put up, you can see these two are having fun here, but this one is throwing a tantrum down here. He doesn't like what he sees, and he is letting everyone know. So your body language can communicate to your manager, to your students, to your teachers, to the president of the university, to the dean of the university. The way you communicate, the way you behave, your body language, all of that, it tends to have an effect on your future. So it's important to understand, to recognize, and to make changes. Expressing messages by body language is a human nature, right? We all do it, all of us. And the way we do it has a positive effect or a negative effect. It's your job to recognize what effect it has, right? Okay, so I have a little video, I think just a little break from listening to me talking, but about body language and how important it is to understand. Let you listen to it. One moment.
When you enter an interview, it only takes a few seconds for your interviewer to form their. It only takes a few seconds for your interviewer to form their. It's important to keep in mind that an interview is not long enough to really get to know someone. As a result, your body language in that first meeting is a key indicator of your personality for your interviewer, and they're relying on the nonverbal cues you send to make their assessment of you. To be sure that you're sending the right signals, avoid these body language behaviors. Many people often don't realize when they have a seemingly bored or unapproachable expression on their face. As a result, be mindful of how you're responding to your interviewer and put in extra effort to be sure that your attitude is portrayed in your facial expressions.
Sorry about that. I will fix that. Just give me a second.
interview, it only takes a few seconds for your interviewer to form their opinion of you. Throughout your meeting, it's important to keep in mind that an interview is not long enough to really get to know someone. As a result, your body language in that first meeting is a key indicator of your personality for your interviewer, and they're relying on the nonverbal cues you send to make their assessment of you. To be sure that you're sending the right signals, avoid these body language behaviors. Many people often don't realize when they have a seemingly bored or unapproachable expression on their face. As a result, be mindful of how you're responding to your interviewer and put in extra effort to be sure that your attitude is portrayed in your facial expressions. Never underestimate the power of a smile. Your handshake is commonly evaluated by interviewers, and it can say a lot about your temperament. While a weak handshake may imply that you're a more passive person, a handshake that's too strong may prove that you're too aggressive. To show assertiveness, keep your handshake firm and brief. When your arms are crossed, it can give the impression that you're too tense or closed off. By opening your arms to the side or placing them in your lap, it will appear that you're more willing to engage in a conversation with your interviewer. While it's a common habit, slouching makes you appear unengaged or simply lazy. To prove that you're interested and ready to work hard, pay extra attention to your posture and be sure that you're sitting as tall as possible. Additionally, you can sit forward in your chair to show that you're absorbed in the discussion. If you're unable to keep eye contact with your interviewer or glance around the room too often, it can imply that you're bored or that you aren't listening. By keeping a consistent, focused gaze on your interviewer, you can show them that you're paying close attention and that you understand what they're communicating to you. Throughout the interview, letting your mind wander may result in unintended fidgeting. Signals like scratching your head or checking your watch can make you appear anxious and uninterested. If you're prone to subconscious fidgeting, try to channel your energy into hand gestures that show your passion and interest in the subject.
Okay, so that was a short video on Dr. Dubai. Were you guys able to see
The
that?
biggest mistake women can make when it comes to reducing wrinkles is not understanding where they come from. I recently turned 65, and what changed it all for me is knowing how to block what may be the root cause of loose.
Okay. Sorry, Dr. Dubai.
Yes, madam.
Were you able to see that video?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay, good. I just wanted to make sure because I had a little bit of a. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is communication for problem solving. There are one of the biggest hindrances for professionals and students in communication is when, you can solve a problem, but if you can't communicate that process, then you're really not effective. So it's really important to realize that I call it the 5 primary steps in problem solving. So the first step in analyzing the causes to an unwanted situation with regards to whatever, let's say you're in a math, you're in a math class and you want to solve an equation. You analyze your steps and that cause an unwanted. You generate a set of alternative interventions to achieve your end goal. So how can you solve that problem? What ways can you use to solve that problem? There are different things that you can do as a person, that you could rely on your prior knowledge from past experiences, from past education, from your teachers, from advice from teachers. And that's how you come up with alternative interventions, by seeking advice, by using prior knowledge, by using references, by reading articles. And that's how you come up with solutions, interventions to these problems that you might have, right? And then you evaluate the best solution to choose. So you have all this information that you've collected throughout your life, and you don't have a solution. You ask for help. You look for help. You look for help, whether it be in books, whether it be in seeking advice from your mentor, whether it be seeking advice from your teacher, whether it be seeking advice from your parents or from your spouse or from your friend. That's how you evaluate the solutions that you might come up to these interventions. And then implement this change to the problem. And that implementation process requires you to be diligent and a good communicator, and being able to implement it and then assess its effectiveness. Professionally, that works really well. These steps to solving a problem. So in all of our lives, whether it be academic or professional or personal, we have problems. Every day we have problems, and what we do is we go about solving those problems. How do we solve those problems? We can be strict and, writing down, how do we solve these problems? I analyze the problem. This is my problem. Today I had a problem with sharing my video. I couldn't share my video with you, right? Yeah, I could, but it's hypothetical. What do I need to do in order for me to share my video with you? So I generate a set of alternative interventions. What kind of platforms can I use? These are the platforms I could use. I could use Zoom, I could use Kaltura, I could use Microsoft Microsoft Meetings, I could use Google Hangout, I could use Skype. So what are the tools out there that I could use to help me share this video with you today? And then I evaluate these tools. Zoom was the best tool for me to use today, right? I used Zoom, and now I assess the effectiveness. I asked Dr. Dubai, did you see my video? I wanted to make sure you all saw that video. So that was just a small sample of what a problem solved, right? It wasn't really a problem, but as with anything, we call it a problem, an issue, whatever. Presentation, how to share a presentation. So there are so many things that you could utilize these steps for, and hopefully that is helpful in your achievement of solving a problem. So the next thing I want to talk about is listening skills. Now, listening skills, I think, and this is me personally, are the most important skills that you can have in the communication process. Because I can't communicate with you unless I know what you want, unless I know what your problem is. And I need to be able to listen. A lot of people don't listen. Many people just want to talk, want to hear, don't want to hear. They just want to talk. But when someone wants to talk to them, they don't know how to listen. And it's very, very important for us to listen to people, to listen to our teachers, to listen to our advisors, to listen to our students, because in this unpredictable world, there's so many things happening right now that listening is a skill. I call it an art. It's an art that needs to be utilized effectively. so that you can be successful in your communication endeavors. And by having a conversation and listening to someone's story, we get to know each other. We practice empathy and gain such an appreciation for our shared humanity, because we are, at the end of the day, all human, regardless of where we come from, who we are, what religion, or how old or how young we are. Listening to one another makes us strong. It makes us strong socially. It makes us strong emotionally. And it helps us to build powerful interpersonal connections, professionally and personally. I mean, I met Dr. Dubai recently, but I like her as a person. I think that me and her could have a friendship for a very long time. I think maybe if she comes to visit the United States, me and her will meet and we will have a friendly lunch or dinner, and I will maybe take her sightseeing in the United States, and she will probably do the same thing for me if I come visit India. But it's very important.
You're most welcome. We welcome you, madam.
I'm sorry?
You're most welcome to India, madam.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's very important to build those listening skills, to be patient, to be able to listen to someone completing their sentences and not jump in and not be in a way preventing them from conveying that message to you. That helps. It helps to build a relationship. It helps to make that communication process successful. And it helps to get that message across effectively. Listening skills, right? The power of listening. Like I said, that is the most important skill that you could have, listening. And, you know, sometimes managers tend not to listen, and it is a problem for them. And I will talk about the categories of listeners and barriers to effective listening. What is effective listening? Active listening tips, and active listening. I think I doubled on that one, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about those things right now, so that you can really see what it is I am discussing here. Okay. So the power, having the power of listening. Hello?
Yes. Hello. Yes, you are audible, ma'am.
Okay. I don't think I can hear you, Dr. Dubai. I don't know what's going on here.
Am I audible to you, madam?
One moment. I think I'm going to need these. I can't see. I think I've lost 1 second. Technical glitches.
We also request you to...
I'm just going to put these on because I am not able to hear anything. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's better. I think that's better.
I have a request, may I?
Yes.
Our students are very curious about how to go abroad for higher studies and all. So, what all are the admission processes and all those?
So I'm going to talk about that at I think it's the last few slides. The last few slides are going to be about coming to the United States for school. And I will show them what websites they need to visit. Is that sufficient? I think I am almost done with this part. Okay, so so I've already talked about the listening and how important it is in the first slide, so I won't go through those. And then I'm going to talk about questioning techniques, how to ask questions. The most critical and valuable tools in a person's communication skill is her or art of asking questions. The art of asking questions. Asking the right questions at the right time. So basically what that means is there are 4 ways to ask questions. You have open questions, you have closed questions, probing questions, and then the funnel technique to asking questions. And that's the 5 W's and the 1 H. The what, the why, the who, where, when, and how. I'm sure you all know what they are. And here I have, and I will share this PowerPoint with Dr. Dubai. She'll share it with you. These are the usages and some examples on how to ask those questions, the closed and the open questions. This is the probing questions, clarification. Basically with probing questions, you want to know how things, you want to develop those open-ended questions and come down to a certain point in your questioning. And that's how you do that. You clarify, you complete. Completeness and correctness of the way you ask that question, determining the relevance, how important it is to ask that question, and then being very specific to certain things, so that would go a little bit further, and then summarizing. And this is just a little chart on probing questions, what you seek, examples, and what you hear. Demand and stimulate deeper challenge. Thinking, requiring engagement with concept and ideas, the learning process. And then I gave you an example, and this is what you hear. You generate multiple responses, you reflect, and you connect on your thinking, and then you analyze the consequences of asking those questions. And that's the funnel technique that I talked about earlier. So you have an open question, you probe further, and then you clarify a comment by a closed question. And then if you've understood, you check, you confirm that you understood the answer, right? I'm not gonna do the video. And then the last part of this is, give feedback. As faculty, as administrators, as students, as parents, always give feedback to the people that you're dealing with. Whether it be, if it's positive, it's great. You're doing great, keep up the good work. But if it's critical, remember to utilize the strategy of giving advice or giving critical feedback in a way that doesn't offend, that doesn't make the person feel that they're not good enough, that makes them feel they can improve to move forward. And that is very, very important. Your constructive criticism is welcome, but your criticism, if it's not constructive, it shouldn't be given. So if you have criticism for someone, always have constructive criticism, because this approach will help you get the message across quickly. And then finally, in your communication, you have to have confidence. You have to make your audience feel that you know what you're talking about. You know that skill. You know how to communicate that skill. And you know how to have them follow the interventions or the strategies that you've given them. And then being competent, being complete in what you're thinking, having that complete idea being implemented and being subjected to questions and answers. It's important for that. Projecting credibility. And if you're not credible when you're conveying a message and when you're communicating with your students, they're not going to listen. They're not going to buy in to what you're trying to communicate to them. And effective short conversation means that, you know, I could talk for 5 hours about building confidence, but all I want to say is build confidence. Thank you. And the last one I think is important because we're all nervous. We all have that tendency to be nervous when we speak in public. I have had to work through that throughout my life, and that happens with practice. The more you present, the more you talk to people, the less nervous you become, and the more confidence that you have in yourself. And that tends to be the most important part of losing that nervousness. You have to have experience, and it comes with time. As you go throughout your career, your academic career, your educational career, it comes with experience, and with time, you will start to lose that nervousness, and you will start to come up with ideas as you're speaking, and you start to come up with language and vocabulary that really makes you look like you know what you're talking about sometimes. But that is all for the communication piece that I had. And now I wanted to share a couple of things with you and go through a couple of websites. First of all, in order to be a student in the United States, I'm going to first go to every university in the United States has a website, and they have a website for future international students. And I'm going to go to our website. I'm going to make sure I'm sharing that with you. One moment. Okay. Dr. Dubai, can you see the LTU website?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. So this is for international students, and it's every university in the United States has a website like this, similar to this, not like it, but similar for international students. And all of our requirements to become a student in the United States are in, hello? That's not working. It's too loud. But all of our requirements, if you don't mind muting, we will go to the questions in just a bit. And
yes.
Okay. So yes.
Okay, ma'am. So we sincerely thank you, ma'am, for your kind words and such an informative presentation. We definitely learned a lot. So can we please proceed to the chat?
Oh, okay. So I want to go over how students can apply to an American university. And then I'm going to take you to the government, DHS, Department of Homeland Security website that shows you the requirements on their end, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Is that sufficient, Dr. Dubai?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So applying to LTU, and that's basically our university, but like I said, every university in America has a website like this that basically outlines your needs and what you need to do in order to become a student in the United States. The first thing that you have to do is apply to a university and get an acceptance, right? So this here, applying to LTU, you would click and then you would go here first. These are the academic programs that LTU has. You can see all of these programs that they have, and you can click on any one that you want, and it'll take you to the different parts of that one, right? So that's pretty easy. And then go back to international students. So then applying, academic program, admission requirements. This is very, very important. These are the admission requirements in order for you to become a student at LTU. And like I said, every university in the country has a website like this. So whether you want to come to Lawrence Tech University, which I want you to, because we'd love to have all of you apply to Lawrence Tech and be students here, hopefully soon. And then you can see first year transfer student, graduate student, doctoral students, because we have all the way up to PhDs at our university. And then you can see international application right here. If you click on the international application, it'll take you to we're accepting applications for fall 2020 and spring 2021. So right now, because of COVID-19, there is a lot of embassies that are closed. So you can't even make an appointment for, so you probably, the soonest that students can apply for is spring 2021. But if you click on that, that will take you to a page where you create an account. You create an account by clicking here. You put your email address, your name, and your birth date. And what that generates is an account for you where you can submit an application, and it's all online. You don't have to submit any paperwork right now or anything until they get that information from you, and they will start communicating. Our admission office will start communicating with you. And that's how every school works for the most part.
May I interrupt, madam? With your due permission? May I interrupt with your due permission?
Yes, absolutely. Let me put my headphones on.
Our students are very fond of knowing. Our students are fond of knowing what all scholarships do you provide to international students? Because then that is also an important aspect. Finance becomes an important aspect studying abroad. So do you have any scholarships for Indian students especially, and for all?
So there are scholarships that students can apply for. There are sports scholarships, right?
Yes.
There are academic scholarships, and Lawrence Tech is a private university. So when we offer scholarships, we offer them to all students, not just domestic students. So if we have a student that is, got a bachelor degree please mute. Yes, it becomes very bad on my ears when it's not muted. So we offer scholarships to highly academic students who have an outstanding degree. Let's say they did really well in their bachelor degree in mechanical engineering. We have many scholarships that they can apply for right off the bat when they apply to the university. They can actually click on applying for scholarships, and then it'll take them to the different scholarships that they can apply for. It could be academic scholarship based on their GPA. It could be based on the sport that they're playing. Let's say they play a kind of sport, maybe soccer or football or whatever. There's so many scholarships out there. And there's also, we have here in Michigan, we have a very high community from India, and there are a lot of private scholarships as well. So I always tell students to explore all their options. Go to the websites for the Indian community organizations, or for the Middle Eastern community organization, or for the Asian community organizations, because a lot of organizations have scholarships for students that are studying here from international countries. So there's a lot of options for students. But the most important part is to get the admission, and to get that admission, you need a financial guarantee.
Yes.
Right? Yes, for the first time. So let me tell you a little bit about an experience we had with a student who came from an international country. We had a student a couple of years ago who came from Lebanon, and his family was paying for his education, but there was a financial crisis there, and his family lost all their money. But he was a graduate student who was 4.0 student, got A's all the time. And it was his second semester. But because he was a graduate student and because he was an outstanding student, the university was able to pay for his education, give him a scholarship.
That's great. We do have many outstanding students, but because of financial aspects, it happens many times that they could not join international universities.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, many students can pay for that, but there are many students who could not pay. So they also deserve higher education and good quality of education.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you have an outstanding student, that needs to be conveyed when they apply. You know, once they submit that application, they apply for scholarship. But in order for them to get that application through, they still need to submit a financial guarantee, like a letter from the bank or a letter from a relative or a letter from a university saying that student's tuition will be covered by the university they're coming from if for some reason they don't get a scholarship. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. But there are many factors. There's so many factors, a lot of universities. So I know many Ivy League universities that when they do have an outstanding student, they'll pay for everything. They'll pay for their tuition, they'll pay for their room and board, they'll pay for their food. So when you have an outstanding student, universities want that student. We, Lawrence Tech, want that student. So that's why we try to make it so that we can help them financially as well.
That's great. And one more question. If a student, along with studying, along with pursuing education, can the student work in university as lecturer or in some position?
So the first semester they get here, they cannot work because they really get here at the beginning of the semester and the jobs on campus are all filled up already. But there are jobs available the following semester and students can apply to those jobs. They can apply to them all over the campus, but they can only work on campus. They cannot work outside of campus. But once they are about to finish their program, then they get to do OPT, which is find a job in an organization related to their field of education and work for a year or two and get paid for it. So they can legally work in the United States after they graduate outside the campus. But before they graduate, they can work inside the campus.
That's great. That's great.
Yes. And okay, so so is there any questions about the application process? It's very, very simple. You just have to create that account. Once you create the account, you can access your application and fill out the information in there and submit that. Once admissions gets that information, they will be in contact with you with everything that they need. They will send you email. They will tell you, they will walk you through every step. If you have any questions, they're always available to answer any questions you have.
One question I got on the chat
Okay.
box about the tentative fee for graduation course in LTU.
The fee?
Fee structure. Tentative.
Okay. So I'm going to take you to that page and show you what our tuition next year will be like, because sometimes they change.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at tuition right here. So basically, this is our tuition for this year. It depends on what college you're planning to go to, and this is per credit hour. So if we're looking at graduate, mostly graduate students, correct? Dr. Dubai? Mostly graduate students? Yes. So graduate students in the College of Architecture and Design is $1,250, $1,250 per credit hour. Engineering is $1,250 as well. And the College of Arts and Science is $945. And then for ESL, it's $700 per credit hour. And the College of Business and Information Technology is $1,250. And the same thing for the PhD programs, because we have PhD in engineering and we have PhD in Business and Information Technology. And then this document here talks about all the fees the university has for students. And it's not very many fees that students pay, but we do have some fees in regards to that. But this is the tuition for that, for this coming year right here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madhurima to enable Muskan Patidar for her question. Muskan Patidar have a question.
Sure.
So Muskan Patidar, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good morning, ma'am. I would like to ask that what is the minimum GPA required to get admission for and scholarship as well?
So the minimum GPA for a graduate degree.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So could you please mute again? It's there's a back sound.
All the participants, please mute yourself.
So the minimum GPA to enter a graduate program is 3.0, but there are some exceptions made for students based on, so let's say you have an undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering, and let's say computer science. And in your computer science classes, you got great grades, right? You got really good grades, you know, A's, B's, and you got a good grade. But you did really bad in your other classes. Let's say you did bad in social studies and math and science and so on. But in some program directors have the opportunity to make decisions based on the courses that are related to your graduate field. Do you know what I mean by that?
No, ma'am. Could you explain it, please?
Sure. So let's say you got good grades in computer science classes and your coding classes, you got A's, right? But you got C's in other classes that made your GPA very low. But the program director can look at your graduate application for computer science and look and see that you're really good in the area of computer science. Maybe they'll make an exception and let you in based on your grades for your computer science classes only. But there won't be much leeway for scholarships in that. But if you have a GPA that's above a 3.5 or a 3.6, maybe closer to a 4.0, you might be able to get scholarships. You actually have the opportunity. The higher your GPA after 3.5, the more scholarships that you will get.
Ma'am, I have one more question. I have heard that French and Dutch are the most spoken languages in USA. So if I would study over there, so which local language should I learn to be familiar with the surrounding people and everyone?
The only language spoken in the USA officially is English.
Okay, ma'am. I got that.
Okay.
May I have an announcement, please? all participants, I request Gyaneshwari to post feedback form on chat box. And all participants, before leaving, you will have to submit feedback form for your certificates. Thank you. Madam, I request you to please proceed.
Okay. Okay, so this is the tuition for Lawrence Tech. Every university has different tuition. You can go to the university website that you want to choose to apply to, and they will, this is a public document that they have to provide for you. So this is Lawrence Tech's tuition and fees for 2021 school year, okay? All right, so I will go back to the application right here. And then right here, so applying, you submit your application, you got accepted. This is graduate student policies. So here you can look at admission and application, the honor code handbook, which basically spells out everything that you must adhere to when you're at Lawrence Tech University, all their policies, all their procedures, the academic honor code form for the graduate student. So all students have to adhere to this academic code, right? So, you know, like no plagiarism when writing papers, no taking information from other students to use as your own, and things like that. So that's what that means. The grading procedures for dissertation and theses. This is also a public information for master programs and PhD programs. These are all the, go ahead. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Okay, you want me to go on? Dr. Dubai?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm sharing with you right now is also a public document. It's a graduate school program directors. So this is all the graduate programs that we have LTU, and these are the people that are in charge of those programs. This is the College of Architecture and Design, Master of Architecture, Master of Urban Design, Master of Computer Science, Master of Science in Automotive Engineering, Biomedical Engineering, Civil Engineering, Construction Engineering, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Engineering Management, Engineering Technology, Industrial Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, Mechatronic System Engineering, College of Business has MBA, and then Information Technology Master's degree. So these are all the program directors, and this is public. So all of you can contact whoever you want on this list, and they are the ones in charge of that program. They'll be able to tell you about scholarships. They'll be able to tell you about transfer credits, what kind of credit you'll get for the courses that you already have in your undergraduate, or if you need prerequisite courses, or if you need anything. They can look at your transcripts on email. You can send them to them via email, and they can do a quick evaluation and come back to you and tell you the way it is, what they will accept. What's your GPA? Is your GPA acceptable? Is there an opportunity for scholarships? Because they have specific access to different scholarships, to different money, to different things that they might use and utilize in their departments. Is there any questions about that? Okay, you guys, and like I said, this is graduate program director.
I have one question. May I again, with your due permission, madam?
Sure.
Madam, the most important thing, we need to know the language, the grammatical structure and all these things to have good communication with international personalities and at international level. But when we do with all this, when we are done with all this, the other problem we face is it is very difficult to understand accent of a foreigner, and also it's a problem for a foreigner to understand our accent, and this creates a problem to work or to study abroad. Though students have good English, but the problem is of accent. So what will you suggest to our students for this, to overcome this problem?
So we have a course at Lawrence Tech that I personally, so number one, did you all understand me when I spoke, when I did this presentation?
Many of us students are unable to understand the accent yet. Many of us are understanding, though they are very eager and they are getting the sense that your presentation is very helpful for them, but still accent problem is there.
Okay. I understand. So you know that English is my second language.
Yes.
I don't know if you know that. It's not my first language.
Yes.
I am an immigrant to the United States, so I speak another language. I speak Arabic.
Yes.
But I have worked for years and years and years on my accent and being able to communicate effectively to Americans, to the international world, because I deal with many people of different backgrounds. Okay. For a student in India to improve their accent, right?
Yes.
They have to practice.
Huh.
They have to practice.
Listening skills will help them to understand accent of.
Listening to American movies, listening to Audible books. It's a big thing right now. All books are now also recorded in Audibles. You can listen to them. And repeating these words, repeating these sentences, having conversation with international friends. So let's say you and I become friends. It's good for us to constantly communicate when we can FaceTime with each other and we can talk. That is practice for me to understand your accent and for you to understand my accent, right? So it doesn't happen overnight, but it takes time. We have a course at Lawrence Tech. It's called Voice and Articulation. And this course was specifically designed for students from international countries that did not speak English as their first language, right? So the course focuses. Someone needs to mute.
Again, please mute all of you, and I request Gyaneshwari to again post feedback link once again. And I request all participants to mute themselves.
Thank you.
Hello, is it ma'am?
Yes.
I'm audible. Yes, it's very wonderful program, ma'am, and we understand very good. Your language is not a problem for us because your behavior, your style is very understandable, and as a teacher, you are very patientful also. And thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us a time as a teacher. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have a course that I designed at Lawrence Tech University called Voice and Articulation. And the course itself, if you go to our website here, let me do that right now. And I can give you the actual description of the course and what it does. One second. And I just want to talk a little bit about this course. It's an ESL course, English as a Second Language, but the whole purpose of the course is to help students improve their language pronunciation and how they pronounce. This is the course. Students develop accurate pronunciation and grammar of standard English that is necessary for oral communication in professional environments. Students learn how the vocal system functions and work through drills and exercises on individual pronunciation and articulation problems, as well as voice quality, speech rate, and volume. So this is a really good course for students to take. It's only 1 credit hour, but students are able to improve in this course beyond belief their pronunciation of American English. We do it through many different things, like reading poetry, writing their own personal stories and presenting them, reading newspaper articles. And this is all done orally in the classroom with feedback immediately from the teacher. So they're constantly working around this whole process of pronunciation. We're not looking at grammar or writing or anything. The whole purpose of this course is to improve their spoken English, how they speak, how they pronounce, how they convey that message, how they communicate orally, whether it's through a presentation, whether it's to one person or 2 people or to a group of people. It's a really helpful course for students to take. Okay, so I wanted to show you that, okay? And then here we go back to SEVIS obtaining. So after you get your admission, you need to get an I-20, and that is given to you by Lawrence Tech, the university that you're applying to. They give you an I-20, right? And then once you get your I-20, you need to start your process of applying for a visa in India. And that means you need to contact the embassy or the consulate and find out how they do appointments for you to get a visa. And that visa process is registered already, because when we issue an I-20 to you, you are registered with SEVIS. And SEVIS is the website, the government agency, the American government agency that oversees all the students that come to the United States. There are quite a bit of fees involved in this for applying to SEVIS and to get your visa and all that. So once all these fees are paid, an appointment is made, they do a background check, they issue a visa, and then you come to the United States. But all of this information, as you can see, it's clearly put out on the website, right? So these are the different visas available. And this is what you do in order for you to apply to get a visa to the United States. It's all spelled out. And every university that you apply for, whether it's Lawrence Tech or other universities, this information is available on their website. Is there any questions about this process?
We are really thankful to you, madam, for your informative session. We are highly obliged to you. We have got so much information about what communication skills is. Then you talked about the barriers and paralanguage part, the proxemics part of that. You also informed us about the different universities and the different websites, how to take admission, about the fee structure, and so much. We have got so much information that will be really helpful for us, and we will definitely look forward to welcome you in India.
Thank you.
So I request Ms. Madhurima to express vote of thanks to all the participants. As Madam, I just want to tell you that we do have one more meeting schedule at 80 on the same platform.
I didn't understand. You have one more
meeting schedule on the same platform at,
okay.
So we can wind up in 5 minutes. Is it so?
Okay.
Sure.
And you want to do the same meeting?
No, the other meeting, which is scheduled.
Okay. So not with me, right?
Yes, yes. We do have 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. And then we're done, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was, okay. Okay. So any questions from any of the students? I can answer anything that you would like.
One question there in the chat box is that this is a pandemic situation.
Yes.
So people cannot move to USA. Now, how can they get advantage of all courses being here in their place? And what will be the finances fee structure for in that case, because online courses?
Yes. So all of our, at LTU, all of our graduate courses are going to be online for the fall. So if any student wants to come to the United States and because of the COVID-19 situation, they cannot, they can apply and start taking the courses online for this fall, or they can apply for the spring semester, which will be on campus. But they don't have to go through the immigration process. So it'll be much easier for them to get admission, and then they can start taking classes immediately online. They don't have to be here in the United States right now. But once classes open up in the following semester, they can apply to come to the United States by applying for a visa. They will have an I-20 issued to them at that point. But in order for them to start taking classes right now, they don't need to go through the immigration process. All they need to do is just apply through, if they go to the admission, like, can you still see my screen? And they go to graduate and they just fill out the application. They need to put in the graduate application, which is fine, but the admission people will advise them that they don't have to go through the admission process, the immigration process, which is applying for an I-20 and getting a visa and all that. They don't have to go through that. The only time they have to go through that is once they get the acceptance, once the country opens back up and they can come to the United States. But otherwise, right now, it's all online.
I hope the query has been satisfied of the participant. I'm really thankful for giving answer to this query. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, may I ask Ms. Madhurima for a formal vote of thanks?
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Over to Madhurima. Madhurima?
Good evening to all. On behalf of RGPV TechU, I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this event. First and foremost, I thank our keynote speaker, Dr. Nawal Azhar ma'am, and colleagues and delegates for their enthusiastic participations in this webinar. I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor Sir, RGPV Bhopal, Coordinator Sir of TechU 3 RGPV Bhopal, Director Sir, RGPV Bhopal, UIT RGPV Bhopal, and finally, I would like to thank our team members, Professor Aditi ma'am and Professor Suman ma'am, Gyaneshwari, And also thanks to entire TechCube team and all dear and dignitaries and all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I
And
really
have a
enjoyed doing
wonderful
this.
evening.
Good evening.
I'm really
Good evening.
thankful, madam, and we beg your pardon for all technical glitches. And I'm really thankful to the whole TechCube team for providing support. I'm really grateful to our international guest, our keynote speaker, Dr. Naval Ajar. I'm really thankful to your colleagues that they joined us, they accepted our invitation and joined us, provided us with many information. I'm really thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Honorable Professor S.C. Chaubey Sir, TechCube 3 Coordinator. I'm really grateful to Honorable Director UIT Professor R.S. Rajput Sir for providing me an opportunity to organize this webinar. I confess there had been many problems, many glitches, technical glitches, and some mismanagement. I beg pardon to all participants for this, but I'm sure you have got very important information and really useful for you for your future academic goals. I'm grateful to you, madam. I'm grateful to the whole TechCube team, TechCube office, Vice Chancellor Sir, Director Sir, and I'm thankful to my to members of Department of English as well. They have joined us lately. I just want to name them. Our HOD is Professor Bhasha Shukla Madam. Professor, a very senior professor in our department is Professor Vinita Bhatnagar Madam and Professor Noin Khalik Madam. These are learned personalities in Department of English, UIT RGPV. So they have joined us lately. I'm really grateful to them. I'm the junior most in the department. So I'm grateful to them also for providing me the opportunity. Yes.
Well, it was a pleasure for me to be here today. I truly enjoyed talking with all of you, and hopefully someday we can do this in person, where it could be a workshop and communication where we could have different groups, create different scenarios to come up with solutions, and hopefully it would be a more interactive. And you know, I'm grateful to have been able to do this today, and thank you so much.
I request you, madam, to convey our gratitude to your colleagues who have joined us for this webinar.
I will definitely send them an email as soon as we hang up.
I beg pardon from our behalf if for some mismanagements if it happened.
I will also send you Dr. Madgal and Dr. Sarini's email addresses.
Sure. Our participants also want, in future, they would like to connect to you. So definitely I'll share your details. I need your permission. I seek your permission.
Yes, absolutely. Share my information. I will share my information right now on the chat as well.
I'll definitely communicate them. I'll communicate them later on that I will do. Definitely I'll do. And if you want to share, you're most welcome.
I shared my email address. Oh, and I put an extra comma in there, which is incorrect. There we go. That's my email address. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you've done to get this going. This is not an easy process. I know getting all these people together, it's quite a feat that you have accomplished. That's wonderful. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, participants.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
And talk to you soon, Dr. Dubai.
Sure. I'll be in touch. Thank you, madam.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, all participants, and we take your leave now. Thank you. Hello. I want to thank my co-coordinator, Professor Suman Ramtek, madam. She has taken painstaking effort to organize this webinar. I'm really grateful to Professor Suman Ramtek, madam. Suman, madam, are you there?
Thank you. And congratulations to you.
And I'm really grateful to to Gyaneshwari, to Madhurima Madam, to Gyaneshwari, and all those who have supported us and helped us in organizing this webinar. Really thankful. Ravi Rai sir, I could see you. Thank you sir very much for participating. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's leave now. Should we? Madhurima, should we take leave now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.